now tuned into the FunGirlz FriYay Show with Ms. Mercedez, your kid's favorite teacher, and the Twist Master of Wild Child's Hair Studio on WFNU 94.1 FM.
You ready? You want to do this?
Representing the Rondo Frogtown neighborhood in St. Paul, Minnesota.
So, without further ado,
Let's go!
What's up, guys? This is me, Ms. Mercedez, aka your kid's favorite teacher. I am here with some special guests today. We are here for the Mercedez and MK show. MK right now, she is working her magic, watering our youth mind at Johnson High School with St. Paul Public Schools. So shout out to MK in her class.
Yay!
And we have our special guest, co-host, the Twist Master.
Hey!
And then I have a special guest too, Tyler Olsen, who is also my co-worker, and I think of him as a great leader. He has been very influential in the Frogtown Rondo community for the past, I don't know how many years, but we have some big things that are about to start. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm going to introduce Tyler Olsen. Who are you? Where are you from? And what are you doing in our Rondo Frogtown hood?
Who am I? Yeah. So yeah, I grew up here in Falcon Heights, right by the fairgrounds. And, you know, I'm a theater artist and a teacher, and so went to school for that, and, you know, went to school up in Mizz, went to school out in California at a clown school, actually. So figured out how to... I have my moments. I can be funny. Yeah, I like to think I can be funny. Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm. I like to laugh. I like making laugh.
That's good. Laughter is good for the soul. It is. It is indeed. Yeah. And so I moved back here after being in California for about 8 years, and being from the area, you know, like I started a theater company, but was walking down University Avenue one day and saw this old building that I'd heard about called the Victoria Theater, that I knew the community had been involved in kind of like re-envisioning like the future for it, because at that point it was a vacant building. And so I kind of got involved with the Frogtown Neighborhood Association, which was really a pivotal organization that worked to save this building. So the Victoria Theater is like this 100-year-old silent movie theater that was a silent movie theater, but then it was a nightclub, then it was a restaurant, and then it was like a lamp store for 60 years. And then it was sitting vacant. And so there were kind of like rumblings around that a local developer was going to tear it down because they needed a parking lot. And the community kind of like rose up, and the community being like historic people and or like historic preservationists, as well as like just people that lived in the neighborhood, saying like, hold on, this is an amazing old building. Like, we want to save it and like transform it into a community asset.
What year is it?
This would have been like, I think that initial, like, when the community was like, hold on a second, was like 2009. Yeah, so this is
2024.
That's right. So this is like 15 years ago that the community like first rose up. And so I got involved in about 2011. And at that point, like, the community had been successful in saving the building, right? So this is a historic building, which a lot of times are just torn down, right? Historic buildings are a lot of work and a lot of upkeep. And so the community said, like, no, we want to keep this as like a neighborhood asset. And so they started like kind of developing plans, like figuring out like what would this building be, right? So we knew it couldn't get torn down. It was like historically designated, which means it's protected by the city. And so you couldn't tear it down. And so what were we going to do with it? And there were a lot of kind of ideas on the table, but art seemed to be at the center of all of them. And so this group of community members, which was like a long cast of characters, right? Because this is like a 15-year journey. And so these community members at this point said, like, we want to turn this into a place for art in our community. How do we do that? And so the Frogtown Neighborhood Association, again, like, they were really like the critical, yes, yeah, for sure, because at that point, like, there was no money behind this project. It was like just like the community's will. Yeah, totally. And so the Frogtown Neighborhood Association started like, you know, kind of like funding somebody to organize like a community advisory council. And that's where I first got involved. And then it became kind of a project manager. And then we worked in like, we were able to kind of like negotiate like holding the building, right? So like we worked with a company called the Twin Cities Land Bank, and they held this building for us while we figured it out. Because otherwise, you know, this is like back when everything was really cheap. And so developers were like snatching up properties around the university all the time, right? Because like that's what happens around here. Like
Gentrification.
yes, exactly. And so we were really working hard to kind of like both imagine like the vision of the place and kind of align the vision of the place, and then as well like just gather money and gather resources to make it happen. And so that work took about 6 years, probably till about 2017, where it was just the community, it was being held for us, and the community was kind of like really wrapping its head around what it wants to do. We did an amazing kind of community design session where we worked with a local architect, and they came in and said like, okay, led the discussions like, what would you want to see in your community, right? And so the things we heard were like, we want like a performance space, right, for artists who are both like established and kind of like up and coming artists, right? We want community space, so a place that the community come in and have a meeting, or just come in and like hang out and land, and like have a meeting with another artist, or like have a meeting
Just
with
a
like a community group.
space
Yep.
for the community.
Yep.
Who are artists and performing artists, and like I'm not sure if a lot of people know, but Rondo is very historic when it comes to like the arts and music. So just that's already been a part of the community. So I think a lot of the community members that were part of this, they already knew that, so wanted a space that they could call their own in a home.
Yeah, for sure. And especially like a community as diverse as ours, right? Like Frogtown, like, like there's 26 languages spoken in Frogtown, right? And
Wow.
so like as we were doing this design session, we were like, oh, we can't just build like a theater, and we can't just build like a place for dance, because like there's actually like a whole lot of different art that happens in our community, and a whole lot of different art and culture that happens here. We want to build a place that can really accommodate all of that. So we kind of became our own nonprofit in 2017, and then started this work on what's called a capital campaign to raise all the money for this building. And so we started working with architects. We started like fundraising, had some like really kind of critical funders like step in right away, like the St. Paul Foundation, St. Paul, Minnesota Foundation, the Bigelow Foundation, Mardag Foundation, Catherine B. Anderson Foundation, Knight Foundation, all were like, yes, we believe in this idea.
Thank you, Foundation.
Yes, truly. Like it would not have happened without that really early support. But working with these architects kind of like really came up with a plan that we thought like really embraced all of this kind of flexibility, and like was still like celebrated the history, but like had a really like new vibe to it. Our architects are VJAA, and they're based out of Minneapolis. Really amazing group of folks that you would be really lucky to work with. And so we kind of made all these plans, and this is like 2019, like things are getting going, right? And then 2020 hits, and right. Yes, yeah, we know what happens in 2020. And so, but I think what 2020 did is like also gave us an amazing opportunity to go like, this is why a place like this is important, right? So like as like everything's shut down, and then George Floyd gets murdered, there's the uprisings, and like we have like members of our board and members of our community like out helping like businesses put up plywood, but then also connecting those businesses with local mural artists, right? Because we're like, we don't want this community to look boarded up, right? Like this is like a revolution that's happening, and we want to get art up that supports that revolution. And
so if you guys pass down University in Victoria, you'll see a lot of murals, and most of that came from Victoria Theater Arts Center.
Yeah, a lot of it.
825 Arts.
Yes.
Yeah, like I know the T-Mobile or.
Yep, they still got a Justice for Breonna Taylor up there.
Yeah,
yep.
That was designed from VTech.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it was really like a moment to go. Like I think
dress up a bad thing.
Yes, and
like
both dress up and communicate like a really clear need, right? Like in communities like ours, it's like the arts that get us through, right? Like, and the arts that bring us together, and yep, and arts that allow us to heal for sure. And so, so 2020, 2021, we're kind of like building momentum, right? We're kind of solidifying these designs and that kind of thing. And then of course 2021, with all the supply chain stuff that's happening with the, just in the construction business, like all of a sudden, like we were raising, like $3 million. Then all of a sudden, like, oh no, just kidding, you have to raise $6 million. And we're like, oh,
so close, but
yeah,
so far.
close, but so far is right. And but again, the community like steps up. We like start building programs. People see like, oh, like we really mean it, right? We're not just here to kind of like build a venue that we like rent out to other folks. Like we're here like creating programming and creating arts that really support our community. Like we're always about our community.
Or even use the community, because I see nonprofits come in and they use the community to get funding or do what they want, but then when it actually comes to serving the community, it's not really a reflection of that. And that's where I really take pride in being a part of 825 Arts, because it's FUBU, for us, by us, where we are the ones who are the actual community members are creating the vision for what is happening in the building.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's what I love in just knowing the history of Victoria Theater, which is 825 Arts, is like it's always been by the community and for the community, and it's going to stay that way.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I think, you know, we know that like the community is like our strongest asset, right? And so like the mission of this organization isn't to be an art center, right? It's not to like provide opportunities for artists. The real mission of like 825 Arts is build community power, because like we know like that it's in this kind of community power building that we can really affect change, and we can stop things like gentrification, or at least like, you know, slow it down. And like, you know, working a lot with the Frogtown Neighborhood Association, you know, and their whole thing is development without displacement, right? Like our neighborhoods should be able to get better without it meaning that we can't afford to live here anymore. And so
or even just the chance to control the narrative.
Yes,
like,
yes,
you know, people
totally.
coming in who love the culture and history, and they want to talk and write about it or be a part of it, but it's like, let us tell the story.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and so it's been, you know, here we are like 2024, so we started construction at early last year, early 2023, worked with Flannery Construction, and again, like had some amazing funders like step in, right? Like Hubbard Broadcasting, which is like KSTP5, like they threw down to make this thing happen, right? The Hardenberg Foundation, which is here in St. Paul, Securian, right, which is out in Woodbury, and then we got an amazing grant from the Mellon Foundation that like really put like the last kind of final big chunk when we thought like, oh, there's no way we're going to make this like high mark of fundraising. Like they stepped in, and they're out in New York, right? And they were seeing the work we were doing here. They see all the things that you're saying, Sadie's, right? They saw that we're like we're really working for community and with community, and like it's about the community. It's not about what we want to do. It's like what's going to be the best serving our community, and really putting the community stories forward. So we started construction, and here we are, August 2024, and we're about to open this building. We changed our name. We were originally the Victoria Theater Arts Center, kind of like paying homage to that original building, the Victoria Theater, but we always had some issues with the name. Like people would hear Victoria Theater and they're like, oh, I'm a dancer, I don't really do theater, it's not my place. And so we're like, oh, okay, so maybe like theater is like given the wrong vibe. And then the word Victoria, you know, like Victoria Street, Victoria anything is named after like the British Queen Victoria, right? And so you like have that whole history of like empire and colonization, and we're like, we don't want that in our name. And so really we're like, what's important to us? And so like it was like art, and then, you know, our address is 825 University Avenue. And so we're like, oh, well, what if it's just 825 Arts, which is like, well, it tells people the address, but it's also like, yeah, this is a place that's home to 825 different kinds of art, right? Like all those arts are here. This is a home for all of that creativity, all that imagination.
Yep, double dutch, sneaker design.
That's right.
And you're on all your kids' favorite teacher is there, so we have lots of fun things planned for the kids in our future, because right now they're taking arts, music, a lot of funding for that, and like the school system is leaving.
Yep.
So the door is just wide open for places needing resources.
Yes.
We are going to be that, and I can't wait.
Yeah. And one thing I like to incorporate when we say the name 825 Arts is art 8 days a week. Art 25 hours a day.
Yes,
it's overtime art, not just one type of art. We art overload.
Yes.
I love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I am your honorary employee.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
oh yeah, you're showing up. Like you're gonna be on the payroll before you know it.
I'll be pulling up, because I love it. I love it.
When does this amazing building open?
This amazing building opens on 825 on August 25th.
Oh,
my God.
Right?
Wow,
Right?
that's
Yeah,
825
yeah.
again.
Yeah,
Wow.
there it is. Yeah, so it opens with the Frogtown Arts Festival, which is actually a festival, a community festival that's been happening for like 10 years. And it was originally organized, again, by the Frogtown Neighborhood Association. And you hear their name a lot because like they're doing like really that amazing on-the-ground work to like really start big initiatives, right? Victoria Theater is a big project of theirs, feeding Frogtown, which feeds like hundreds and hundreds of people a year. Like that started with Frogtown Neighborhood Association as a program of theirs. So they're doing a big kind of like lot development or building development at 652 Sherburne. So like they got a lot going on, and we're a project that comes directly from them. And so the Frogtown Arts Festival was originally their idea to bring attention around the Victoria Theater, what was then there. And so the last few years we've collaborated with them to like really produce this festival together and make sure like the community is represented, and now we get to open this building that we've been working for 15 years to make happen.
Yes.
I'm really excited. I'm part of the planning committee, and we are planning a special egg roll contest. So university, and like Tyler said, 825, we want to represent the arts 825 different ways.
Yep.
And that's through like food as well. And university is very well known for delicious Asian food, authentic, good food.
The
And so
culinary.
we're gonna have an egg roll contest with 8 different restaurants, and then the first 25 community members that come in and get a pass will be the judges. So we're having fun. 825 different ways at
825 Arts.
yeah.
Yeah,
companies.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, totally. And it's an amazing artist lineup. You know, like Louis Blaze will be there, Tierra Oso will be there. You know, we've got huge, like, you know, lots and lots and lots of local sponsors from like little businesses like that are up, and I shouldn't call them little, but because they're like an institution, but like Elsa's House of Sleep, like they're a sponsor, right? Like you just landed some sponsor that, Sadie's that
Supreme Lifestyle,
Supreme-
shout out to them.
yeah,
Hey.
exactly. Like our architects are sponsors because like so many people are invested and excited that this dream is finally like coming true. This community dream.
And I just want to add, like, this is really special because of the community that we're in. Frogtown Rondo is very diverse. Like, a lot of people don't realize, but this has been, like, when people hear Rondo, they think of the black community. But in the 80s, the East Africans, the Southeast, or just the Asian community, they started migrating here. So this has been their home since the 80s, and many have been born here. Like, my friends, when I grew up going to Museum Magnet in the Rondo building, I had a very diverse classroom. This is all we know.
Yeah.
So our community has changed and is very cultured, and you're going to see that at the Frogtown Arts Festival. Like, you're going to see just the beauty, and that is what I'm really excited about, is just unifying and embracing all our differences, but all of us are here together in one space, sharing love.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when is this festival again, girl?
825.
825. August
August
25th.
Sunday.
Pull up.
1 to 8 p.m.
Yes.
That's right.
in Rondo Double Dutch will be there.
We will
Oh,
be
yeah.
there. Pull up, y'all. Bring y'all sneakers. I'm tired of y'all pulling up with your sandals on and your high heels on.
Yeah.
Bring your sneakers. We gonna be moving our bodies.
All right, so Tyler, he is the head honcho, the mastermind behind a lot of the stuff that is happening with 825 Arts, formerly known as Victoria Theater Arts. So he has to go pretty soon. Before you go, can you just give us a sneak peek of what your vision for 825 Arts is going to be?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think, like, you know, we're a creative home for the community, right? Like, that's what we want to be. So I think, like, every day, all day, like, we want groups in there, right? So in the morning, like, you know, if we have, like, a preschool group that wants to come in and, like, do a dance class or like, see a show in the theater, like, they're going to be there, right? Like, in the afternoons, like, it's a space where you can come and do homework, or you can come and, like, take a class, do some double dutch, right? Like, you know, work off kind of all that creative energy that you, like, build up during the school day, and do that in there. We have, like, communication in there, which is, like, a local choir that they'll be rehearsing in there, like, 4 days a week. We'll have, like, digital arts programs. So we've got, like, a Minecraft program. We've got all kinds of things that allow you to engage, even if you can't come to the building, right? And then I think, like, you know, every night of the week, just to have, like, the culture of the community represented, whether that's, like, theater, whether it's, like, a dance class or a dance show, whether it's music, whether it's, I think, again, like, we've been waiting so long to kind of open our doors to all these folks that have said over the years, like, you open it, I'm there. And I think like we're now going like, okay, we're open it. So here you come. Yeah.
I would like to see. We could probably even do like some yoga, some step aerobics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about fitness. I don't know if you know that's one of my things.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah,
totally.
let's get some
like moving our bodies
is important. Beautiful.
Yes.
It's the part.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Tyler. And
yes, Tyler. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice meeting you too.
And the energy is just revolved around love. And Janae Aiko, she's going to be here next week on
Yay.
the 20th. Hey, if there's any plugs out there, give me a ticket, please.
Yes, well, that'll be two.
But yeah, we're going to play Love by Janae Aiko.